The 49ers and the Bucs are in the thick of the NFC wildcard race, and they square off in Tampa Bay this week. AQ, what do you expect to see in this matchup?
I expect to see Christian McCaffrey. That's who I expect to see, and I think it's going to be a whole different offense. He'll probably be on a pitch count, but listen, they got to buy at the right time. They were a beat-up team. And you got George Kittle and Purdy hanging out in some farm or some golf course in Iowa during the bye week. The camaraderie's good. The vibes are good. Things are good in San Francisco. They're getting CMC back. They just made a trade for like a third-string defensive tackle, so that's a big boost.
Big.
A lot of good things going on right now in San Fran. But the good news is on the other side, they're missing Mike Evans. They're missing Godwin. And Baker Mayfield looked pretty good this week, guys. He looked pretty good. They just didn't have enough to win at the end. You saw whenever Mahomes wins the coin toss, Baker goes like this. It's like, all right, he knows the game's over. We're packing it up. We're losing this one. But it's going to be a good game. The Buccaneers still got a good, talented roster. They're just missing their two best players with not enough firepower to go out and beat the 49ers.
AQ, talk to me about George Kittle. He seems to be having, from a receiving standpoint, the best year of his career so far.
I think George Kittle's the best tight end in the National Football League.
Here.
And I know that's a controversial statement, right? You can sit there and say whatever you want about Travis Kelce. I get it. But what he does, blocking and catching and all of the other things they ask him to do, he's one of the most selfless football players in the National Football League, and he can do anything you ask. He's great going in motion and blocking and doing everything they need to in that Gruden system, and then also getting out on routes and doing everything you need to do. If you need him to get you 6 catches and 120 yards and a touchdown on National Tight End Day, he can do it. But guess what? He can also run that escort motion out of the deuce off, and he can bang out use checks guy as he climbs to the safety, pancakes Julian Love, and they can break it for 75 in Seattle. So I think what he does and his ability to be a complete football player, he's the best tight end in the National Football League.
Jay, you talk about these coaches, how they've dealt with these injuries on both sides of the ball. From a coaching standpoint, like, which one of these coaches is doing a better job handling all these injuries?
They've both done a pretty good job. They're both hovering around 500. When you lose guys like Godwin and Evans, these are great players. When you lose McCaffrey and Ayuk, the thing about Ayuk is he's a great blocker, and people don't give him enough credit for that. Then Juwan Jennings goes down. He's another great blocker, so the run game's going to fizzle just a little bit. Both coaches have done a pretty good job to keep their team within striking distance of the division. Now you have to utilize other players at different spots. Like Cade Otton has taken over Mike Godwin, some of his slot stuff. He's done a great job. He stepped up and become one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. Tampa's done a good job of utilizing different people to make up for those deficiencies. And so is San Francisco. And that's what you have to do as a coach. Have to adjust, do the best you can, and try to cater to your team's strengths that is available, whoever is available.
I look at this quarterback matchup. I look at Baker. I look at Brock Purdy, kind of coming from two totally different situations, but both dudes have a chip on their shoulder. Baker was the first pick in the draft, battled some adversity, bounced around a couple teams. Now he's got the round at Tampa Bay, and Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant, 7th pick in the draft. He's playing for his next contract. Everybody kind of thought the Niners were going to go to the Super Bowl again. They're built for this, but they've dealt with so many injuries. Going into this game, knowing all that background, Justin, what do you think happens in this game?
Yeah, I think this one comes down to health. How much can Christian McCaffrey go out there and do? Jordan Mason, his backup, also got hurt in the last game. They were down to their third running back, Isaac Garendo. I'm going to Gruden this one real quick. Garendo, he's a Louisville guy, right, Gruden?
Hell yeah, he's pretty damn good, man.
I know. He came in there and played well. That Gruden system really allows you to run the ball effectively.
Shanahan, that was that. Quit putting words
on
him.
Hold on. Sorry. All right, McVay. I'm sorry, McVay. I can't keep track. Mike Tomlin stole your playbook when you guys were in Tampa. He took that to Pittsburgh.
No, I never say that.
Before we continue with the video, I have to ask one favor. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and turn on those notifications. If you like this type of content, if you like hearing us talk football, hit that notification button. So every time we drop a video, it is coming straight to you. My biggest question mark with San Francisco, they have the hardest practices in the NFL. I remember guys would come over to the Cardinals, and you know how teams steal players off practice squads from other teams. And the players would say how Shanahan had those guys hitting in pads. That takes miles off guys' bodies. I am nervous about the San Francisco 49ers' health. The NFC West is proving to be a much tougher division than we originally anticipated as well. I think San Francisco is going to win this game, but I actually think it's an easier road for the Tampa Bay Bucks to get back into the playoffs. They get to play Carolina. They get to play New Orleans. San Francisco has a tough road ahead of them. It may be tough. The Cardinals look good. We just talked about how good the Rams are. It's going to come down to, can San Francisco stay healthy? And that is a big question mark. They lost Javon Hargrave for the season, who I think is one of the best defensive tackles in football. He wasn't playing great, but he was hurt. So I have him winning the game, but I'm nervous about their playoff hopes going on for the rest of the season.
I got to give a shout out to Baker. The things that he was doing against the Chiefs hadn't really been done a whole lot this year. You know that, and if he gets the ball in overtime, who knows what happens, right? He lost Godwin, he lost Evans. They're figuring out a way to move the football and to be efficient. And so you just can't sleep on Tampa Bay. And I wouldn't be surprised this weekend if the Bucks, stop this skid and figure out a way to beat the Niners.
I don't think so. I think San Fran getting McCaffrey back, and I think they're just too good overall from top to bottom. This is a very good football team. They're underachieving because of their injuries. I know they have injuries, and they get more excuses than any other team in America because every team has injuries. But the 49ers, they get that extra bit of excuse because it's a Shanahan system, I guess. But I do think they're a better football team, and the Bucks are going to struggle coming off that Monday night emotional loss to the Chiefs.
I think coming off a bye week, getting some of their guys healthy, giving the offensive line a chance to rest and recover. I think a week 9, week 10 bye week is ideal, right? Like it's perfect. You can get some guys healthy. Obviously, they're not going to get Ayuk back. We understand that. But if they can get all the other guys back and you can get CMC kind of rolling, I mean, this team has the makings to kind of go on a run. They're going to have to win some games, obviously, but I think it's a much more talented roster minus Godwin and Evans on the other side.
Yeah, I think bringing Christian McCaffrey back, if he happens to play this week, is a huge difference for the 49ers. They're physical, they're tough. Everybody kind of had them circled the beginning of the year to make the run again to the Super Bowl, and they're around 500 right now, so if they can find a way to do it, they're on their way. We'll see.
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.
There's one key to this too. It's red zone. Christian McCaffrey is a difference maker in the red zone. Jay talks about that in his keys to victory every week. Red zone, third down, turnovers. And Christian McCaffrey makes it a whole lot easier to convert in the red zone. If you're going to put him on a pitch count this week, you maybe just play him once you cross the 50. Once you get across the 50 and the drive has legs, that's when Christian McCaffrey goes in there and plays. So that'll be something to look out for.
I think if you're active, Justin, there ain't no pitch count, buddy. If you're active, you're playing. He's going to get the ball 25 times, have about 130 yards rushing, 6 catches for 85 yards, another touchdown. That's what Christian McCaffrey does. He's that type of difference maker, and I think he's going to have a big day.
If he does 30 touches and 200-plus yards and 2 touchdowns, I'm giving him a gold jacket on the sideline. I'm literally going to fly there and give it to him.
If anyone could do it, it's him. That's the one guy that I feel like could do it.
He's been rehabbing for 12 weeks, for God's sakes. He should be ready.
He was in Germany. He was in an underground lab.
This guy's been all over the world trying to get treatments.
Yeah, he should be good.